We have student perspectives from the Pathways to Quantum Summer Immersion program. Moderating this panel is Dr. Jessica Rosenberg from George Mason University, and we have 3 seniors in high school from the Summer Immersion program, Ria Singh, Azaria Mbongue, and Gen Konowe. Please join me in welcoming Jessica, Ria, Azaria, and Gen.
Great. Well, thank you all for coming and being here to hear a little bit about the program that we run. This is a program out of George Mason University and in partnership with Connected DMV and the Potomac Quantum Innovation Center. And so for this past summer, we ran it for the 3rd time. We pull in these high school students for a couple of weeks virtually to learn about quantum concepts, get engaged in what quantum careers might look like. And after they spend a little bit of time online learning some of the basics, as I said, some of the conceptual pieces, they come to campus at Mason for a week. They get an opportunity to go and visit a lot of the industries in our region to see what's going on in quantum, and then also have opportunities beyond that for short micro internships and to pull together their vision for what quantum might look like into the future. So for any of you who haven't yet seen up on the 3rd floor, the posters that they've all created, please do go see those and see sort of what they're seeing as the vision of where all of this is going. So we're really pleased to have 3 of the students here. There are more wandering around as well who you can talk to over the course of the next couple of days, but I'll have them start by introducing themselves and telling you about one of the highlights from the program.
Hi, I'm Gen Suzuki Konowe. I go to South Lakes High School in Reston, Virginia, which is part of the Fairfax County Public Schools district. And one of my personal highlights from the program was going to the University of Maryland and talking to the student panel that they had for us, as these students were pursuing diplomas that I also wanted to pursue, and we were able to ask them about course rigor regarding prerequisites, and it was nice to get sort of this college student perspective.
So my name is Azaria. I go to Charles Herbert Flowers High School in Prince George's County, Maryland. One of my personal highlights from the George Mason the internship was the connections that I made. Obviously, we went to multiple areas, and there I was able to make connections that otherwise, without this, I wouldn't be able to have made. And I obviously learned a lot about quantum. Before coming here, I didn't know anything about it. Just signed up on a whim out of interest and learned a lot, which I'm really grateful for.
My name is Ria Singh, and I'm a senior at Stonebridge High School and Monroe Advanced Technical Academy, both of which are in Loudoun County Public Schools. And I would say my highlight from the program was being able to visit MITRE, and there are a lot of professionals from MITRE here today, I believe, and it was definitely my highlight because I was able to see so many of the practical applications of so many quantum concepts in the R&D field, and being able to see all of these labs being able to really be applied in a technological sense in a way that can actually help people was really eye-opening.
Great. So I'll start with you again, and afterwards if Azaria or Ria want to add in, they can as well. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about your impressions of the program and how it's impacted your thinking about the future.
Okay, thinking about the future, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I had some prior knowledge about quantum. I watched videos on YouTube with my father as he was really interested in this topic. We watched things like the double slit experiment, Schrödinger's cat, some simple things like that. Going into this program, I came with that knowledge. I was really interested in quantum, but there aren't many high school programs that are available for quantum. So seeing this and being recommended by my physics teacher was really a great opportunity to expand this passion. And then coming into this, they taught us the foundations and principles of some quantum aspects like superposition, entanglement, communications, things like that. And I thought it was going to be very difficult at first, but the way that they educated us was through simple explanations and analogies, and that was super interesting to me. So after this, I decided to do a branch internship working with Dr. Rosenberg and Dr. Holenchek, learning how they're making these aspects digestible to students because, I mean, we are the younger generation that is going to be filling the shoes during this new quantum revolution. That was really exciting to me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Right. Azaria, do you want to add anything on impressions that you have of the program?
Not really. Well, basically the same with me, except I didn't really know anything about quantum at all until seeing the sign-up form. I did sign up, and over the course of the online part, I did learn a lot, but I didn't learn in depth as much as I did with the in-person program. In-person program really taught me a lot. Obviously, we went hands-on, saw hands-on experiments, talked to people who are really involved in the field. And before coming here, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to major in computer science in college. But now I still do want to major in computer science, but I want to take it a step further and master, if possible, in quantum computing, so that I can obviously help develop this area of study that is quantum computing.
Excellent. And you, Ria?
Yeah, I'd love to add on to that because when I signed up for this program, all I really knew about quantum was that it was a continuation of physics, which is a field I'm interested in. But for the most part, I've always had an eye on computer science. So I didn't have the most expectations going into this program. I thought I'd just be learning about specifically quantum science and the physics aspects of it. But being able to go to the George Mason campus and visit so many other places opened my eye to the amount of careers in the quantum field, and it doesn't only relate to just quantum science from an educational aspect, but it bridges so many other disciplines as well. So I learned that quantum science can correlate strongly with a lot of the computer science concepts I'm interested in. For instance, quantum computing is something that I've definitely learned more about and definitely could see a future for myself in terms of what I want to pursue.
Great, and I think all of you have mentioned a little bit how this is impacting your thinking of what you want to do and what directions that might go. And I love to, as you're all now seniors, right? You're sort of thinking about all of these things as you apply to school. So really, in terms of the way this is shaping your thinking, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that and how it's actually impacting where you're thinking you're going, how you're thinking about that path going forward, and all that. So, Azaria, do you want to start on that one?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I already said a couple of times, but before starting this program, my thought was just very linear. Obviously, if there's a solution to this, it's obviously just going to be one. But after learning about the quantum concepts like superposition, entanglement, and so on, I wanted to think more in depth when it comes to certain problems, trying to see if maybe two solutions were alike or they were different. What happened if this went to this, or something like that. In terms of career or future, I see this program really helping me in, or really or being an influence in some of the colleges and universities that I wanted to go to. So, yeah.
Right. Ria, do you want to?
Yeah. When I started learning about the science, I really only thought that it was like Azaria was saying, just like a clear science, but it has so many other fields that it intersects with. There's the medical field. There's quantum science and R&D in the defense field, for instance, counterfeit detectors. And it really shows how many more career opportunities there are when it comes to a science like quantum science. And as Gen also mentioned, being able to visit colleges and talk to students showed me that I don't have to just take this one path into quantum science and learn purely the academic side of it, but quantum science can instead supplement a lot of my learnings, and that's definitely something I want to look into in my career. I want to be able to learn quantum science and apply that in many ways, in many disciplines.
Again?
Well, since I was a kid, I was really always exploring the unknown. That's why I got interested in space at first. Up until this past year, my junior year, I wanted to go into astrophysics, and I was really stubborn on that. I did some independent research, and I always talked to my physics professor after class. And then he mentioned this program. I went into it thinking, not much about it. I knew a little bit about quantum because of my dad, but I went into it still thinking I wanted to do astrophysics. And then I talked to some of the University of Maryland students, and they all had bad reviews on astrophysics. So, it's making me question myself a little bit, but yeah, I was always interested in the unknown. So going and learning about quantum and this industry of the unknown, sort of, or uncertainty, was really interesting to me. And that definitely influenced what I want to do and where I want to go for college. So I am thinking of pursuing physics as somewhat of like a major, and then honing in on some sort of quantum. I think I want to do either quantum computing or sensing. And I also found that astrophysics and quantum, they go hand in hand. And I also did my poster on that.
Great. So we may come back to the question of posters in a minute, but I wanted, since part of the program, one of the options once sort of the main part of the program was done was to pursue these micro internships where there were a couple of weeks where you could actually go a little bit more in depth into a topic. So have you guys talk a little bit about your experiences in that. So Rhea, if you want to start and tell us a little bit about what you did there and what you learned and how it was maybe, extended what we did within the program.
Right, my internship was with INA Solutions. It was a virtual internship in which I learned quantum ML algorithms through the Qiskit library. We worked with a bunch of data sets, some of them examples, some of them real data sets, and we used quantum machine learning algorithms to sort these data sets. And it was a really cool experience because it was an actual practical application of two things that I love, computer science and quantum science, and being able to see that actually be bridged in front of me and being able to actually use that was really eye-opening. And it shows me something that I could actually see a future for myself in. And it was also a very collaborative experience. I got to communicate with students and other people that did the internship with me, and also the mentor who was hosting our internship. And I learned a lot of skills that I can take away from that internship. I can continue to work with these ML algorithms that I used, and even in my own school, when we eventually start up our own quantum clubs, which I think we might talk about later, I definitely want to be able to show this to other students, and I think it's a really cool practical application and skill that I gained from that internship.
Right? Do you want to go?
Oh, yeah, sure. The branching internship that I chose to do was the one focused on education. I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's with Dr. Rosenberg and Dr. Hollencheck. During this internship, we had a group of 3 students, and we worked on a slideshow presentation on one aspect of quantum. We worked on, I believe it was quantum computing versus classical computing, and we had to make it digestible on a high school / middle school level. And this was really unique because it's a very hard topic to wrap your head around, and specifically making this digestible for the younger generation was really difficult, but we figured out a way to make an interactive lab, which is a lot more easy for younger students to understand. And also, I've been hearing for the past couple days, especially at the forum, that there is a lacking or uncertainty in this upcoming workforce for quantum. And this, if we have a larger workforce, this will also lead to greater innovation, greater pursuit in quantum. So I believe that the key to this is young exposure and pushing this curriculum, pushing this these easy analogies out to young students is definitely the key to keeping quantum, keeping the flame for quantum.
Yeah, and I have to say, it was great having students sort of as part of that process to give some feedback. In fact, some of the teachers that had been part of it were part of our workshop last night and even commented on the ability to run sort of their activities with some students in the room to give feedback was really helpful, because they wanted to see how they play out, how they might play out when they bring them actually into their classroom. So moving from that, we talked about this internship as one of the extensions that we offer for the students beyond our week-long program at Mason. One of the others is putting together these vision posters, and something you've all done. And I'd love it if you talk for a few minutes about what you chose, why you chose that topic, and what you learned in trying to kind of do this next step, which was a largely independent research project on your part to kind of learn more and dive more into an aspect of quantum. So, Azaria, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. My poster is about the integration of AI in quantum computing. When I first learned about quantum computing, I was like, this is a really interesting field. How can I make this easier to learn or to use? My first thought was AI. So I did some research. I learned that obviously AI integrated in classical computers is easier to use than integrating AI in quantum computers. Obviously, you have to, the problem of qubits and other components as well. So you have to make sure that, you can use it as efficiently as possible. Reason that's why I chose that, I am really infatuated with AI. I use AI almost every day to learn more about stuff, to do more research on things that I might not be so knowledgeable about, and to also help me in certain fields that some other people might not be so knowledgeable about. That's it.
My poster was about quantum squeezing, and this is a newer concept or a less talked about concept that's different from concepts of like superposition and entanglement, in the sense that quantum squeezing takes advantage of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, where you have two variables, you don't really know the certainty of each one, but by manipulating one variable, you can increase the certainty of another. And this is important to me because a lot of the technology that we use today requires precision measurement, so making very small, precise measurements. And at a very small quantum scale, it's hard to get certainty with those measurements just because of how sensitive these measurements are to noise. But quantum squeezing is a technology that manipulates that Heisenberg uncertainty principle to find more precise, to take more precise measurements, not with complete certainty, but with increased certainty. And I found this really interesting because it's being applied in technology today of various different scales. For instance, the LIGO Observatory, which is where it's being used to sense gravitational waves, which are coming from so far away out in space, but it's using quantum squeezing technology to make very minuscule measurements that gives us so much more insight into different things. And I also think quantum squeezing can be applied into so many technologies in the future. It can be applied into quantum error correction, improving atomic clocks. So really anything that has to do with precision measurement, quantum squeezing can help in a way. It's just expensive and it's new, but it's something that I found very interesting, so that's what I did my poster on.
I knew I wanted to do my poster on something related to space and also something quantum. It also said that we had to bring up an issue currently in space, and the first issue that came to my mind was the amount of debris that we currently have in orbit around the Earth, and also that there are about 1 to 2 big satellites that get destroyed by these debris each year. So what I wanted to do was very abstract, but it was an idea of embedding quantum-enhanced interferometers on these satellites in order to detect this debris at a more accurate level, and gathering this data and somehow transferring it to quantum computer in order to use navigational better navigational pathing and these navigational algorithms in order to find a more fuel efficient and better way of maneuvering through these debris to avoid this issue.
So you all did fairly, really dove into some of these technical topics, right, in doing the poster. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about sort of how that experience was, right? We sort of spent a while as part of the virtual program introducing you to some of the ideas, and then you got to see some of the places that are doing all of this. You had a much more sort of directed but deeper internship experience. But in terms of the poster, as you pursued this, did a little bit more independent research, sort of what that experience was like as a student trying to navigate finding out about this new topic. I don't know if one of you wants to start. I'll let you pick.
I can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there was no hand-holding. I actually had to ask Dr. Rosenberg if I can get access to an article that I wanted to read, because it was, I guess, hard to find that research across the internet, and I had to do a lot more deeper digging than I was used to. But as I continued that research, I became more invested in it, and I found more research that was very in-depth into what I wanted to explore. And I came in with a vague idea, and when I finished my poster, I had a much more stronger understanding. So it was my first time really doing a research poster like that, and it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, piggybacking off what Ria said, there was really no hand-holding. Had to go to multiple websites multiple times trying to find more information on the topic, which honestly was really hard to find. I had Dr. Hollencheck help me by sending me some websites and some PDFs that talked about quantum, the integration of quantum AI with quantum and some of the issues that came up with it, as well as applications and what has been recently done on the subject.
Yeah, definitely the most difficult part was finding sources that were digestible for me. Research papers are definitely very difficult to digest. I realized that after doing my research, and I definitely needed Dr. Rosenberg's help interpreting these and just telling me what they actually mean in a more simplified version. This also connects to that educational aspect again, making these digestible to students. That was definitely the most difficult part, but after learning about this, I definitely know that I want to do something that's sort of interdisciplinary regarding astrophysics and quantum.
Great. So to wrap things up, I just want to get one final thought from each of you about why you think it's important to learn about quantum at this point in your life, both for you personally, but also more broadly as you think about others who are just embarking on all of this. So, I don't know, okay, you want to start and we'll go.
Learning about quantum now. Learning about quantum right now for me was very important, very vital for me, because I am starting my college application process, and this was the summer right before I started. This sort of gave me a really clear path of what I wanted to do, and I definitely was uncertain about what major I wanted to pursue, but after this immersion program, I found myself a clear path that I want to follow.
Yeah, same with Gan. This quantum internship really helped me discovering some of my long-lost curiosities, I guess. Because this whole thing just really helped me a lot in a college selection process and what to major in college.
I definitely agree with that. I think it showed me how many opportunities there really are in this field, in R&D, from research, from career opportunities, and that was definitely helpful.
Right. Well, thank you all. It's been great talking to you and working with you, and I think we'll all be around later as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.